Today, we're going to get started on our next seed to harvest video. I'm going to be growing my own No Joke genetics. This is the No Joke strain from Twin Peaks Cannabis. But this isn't your ordinary grow. This is something very special. This is what I think should be the future of cannabis breeding and growing. We are going to be using my own custom soil mix. This mix is a collaboration with KIS Organics and Twin Peaks Cannabis. What the goal is to come up with a soil mix that you at home can buy. You can then get the genetics from me. If I'm able to provide you with the SOPs, standard operating procedures, things such as temperatures, humidities, feeding, all of that information that you need to grow a plant, if I can provide that to you with the same soil I used, with the same genetics that I use, you should be able to get the same results that you see me getting. And that is going to be the future of cannabis breeding, and that is what we're doing here in this seed to harvest video. For this grow, I will be using 7-gallon pots. Now, before I start pouring my soil into the container, I'm just going to put on one of these because the particulates, they float around in the air. Trust me, just put these on, and also protect your eyes as well. All right, now we can add our soil. Now, because the soil has a good nutrient load already in it, I usually don't start my seeds directly into this soil. I will go over germination with you in a second, but I want to show you a little special technique called the Cyclops method. And you can use a solo cup or the 4-inch container or the gallon container. Basically, whatever you're going to start your seeds in, use that for the Cyclops method. The Cyclops method is basically taking your container that you're going to use to start your seeds in, and you bury it into the final container or the next container that you're going to transplant in. Again, this is going to be my final container. It's going to have all the nutrients in there, and I want to get it to a level of where I would normally have the soil anyway. So I'm just going to take some extra soil here. So now that I have the soil filled up to the same line as my solo cup, because again, that's what I'm using for the Cyclops method here. But as an example, what you can see is I now have a perfect hole. I can choose to fill this hole with my seed starting soil, or again, I could do it, start it in the solo cup, and then transplant the solo cup soil into the hole. But that's the Cyclops method, and that's how I'm going to get seed started with this soil mix. Alright, so my tent has been thoroughly cleaned for this next run. My containers have been filled, but let's go over some of the other equipment that I'm going to be using during this grow. To monitor my temperature and humidity, I have the interconnected fan unit, which has this display sitting outside of the tent. It's very handy for me to make quick observations of it, but I don't have it linked up to any Wi-Fi or Bluetooth that records the data, although that is possible. So one thing that I like to use as well, just double checking it, is your basic hygrometer. Like $10 on Amazon. It keeps track of the temperatures, keeps track of the humidity. The reason why I like to have something like this is because it records the highs and the lows for the day. So another thing that I'm going to be doing with this soil grow is I'm going to be using a Blue Mott digital tensiometer. Basically, it measures the amount of water in the soil, and that's going to be important because I'm going to be able to give you guys precise watering instructions on exactly how moist to keep the soil, to keep the plants happy, to get the same results that I've got. All you have to do, one of these Blue Mott sensors, we stick it in the soil. You'll see as we go along in this grow, but this is going to come in handy and again, give you the data for success. The nutrients that I'll be using during this run are the KIS Organics Bloom Booster, which I'll probably add once throughout this grow. I'm probably going to do a 30-day veg period. Again, in the 7-gallon container with the nutrients in the soil already, it should pretty much get it through. But I'll probably do one top dressing of that KIS Organics Bloom Booster, and then I also use Recharge, just microbial support. Add in some beneficials, make everything get to work. So those are the two things I'm going to be adding. If there's anything additional, I'll let you know throughout the grow. My preferred method of germination is simply just a glass of water. It doesn't get much more difficult than that. You just take your seeds, put them in your hand, dump them in the water, and then wait. You can see our 4 seeds soaking in there, and for now they're floating, and that's fine. I'm not worried about tamping them down. Maybe I'll do that later. But for now, they're in the water. 24 hours is when I should expect to see maybe a little bit of action. 48 hours definitely, but we will be checking in on these regularly. Now, there wasn't anything special that I did to this water. It comes out of my tap at a pH of around 7.0, so I didn't really have to worry about that. I didn't add any nutrients. I didn't add any rooting hormones. I just left it straight water. But as you can see, it is sitting between my 2 temperature measuring devices, so it's going to get me and you accurate readings on what to suggest. Right now, we're currently at 70 degrees and 56% humidity. Typically, I like to see 60% humidity when the seedling is growing, but it's still in the seed. So let's wait and see how long they take to pop. We are at 48 hours right now, and as you can see, all 4 of our seeds have cracked and the little white taproot is starting to come out. Let me give you a closer look. All right, so this one, the little white taproot isn't quite through, but the seed is germinated and cracked. This picture, it's broken through that membrane, and in this picture it is reaching past the seed looking for that soil. Everything is getting ready to go into the solo cups right now, but even though it's a small container, you still need to have your drainage holes in the bottom. And let me tell you a little grow hack here on how to get your drainage holes in the bottom of your solo cup. Just take your lighter, make a little hole, turn it, make another little hole, turn it. Basically, you just make about 5 little holes in the bottom of your solo cup with your lighter. Super easy. It works nice. And there you go. You see, it's got holes, drainage, voila, perfect. That's the grow hack for your solo cups. Another thing I like to do with the solo cups is I only put soil up to that line. Why? Because when we put our seed in here and it grows out, it's going to stretch. And when I transplant this, if I leave that much room, I can actually bury that much of the elongated stem. So yeah, that's another little solo cup hack. Use that line, fill your soil to it. I have a couple options for getting the seeds from in there into the soil. One is I could just take my tweezers here, I could grab them from the jar, and I could place them in the soil. Now, you want to be careful. You don't want to squeeze too hard, you don't want to squeeze too tight, you don't want to squeeze on that white taproot. It is fragile, so you want to be very careful. And because of that, because grabbing them in here, it's like, woo, it's like bobbing for apples, I actually just have a paper towel here. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to take this, I'm going to take that, I'm going to pour my seeds and my water out, and then it's going to be a lot easier for me to grab them with my tweezers and place them into the soil. So again, I'm just going to come in here gently. I can tell the taproot's coming out that side, so I'm going to grab it from behind and pick it up gently, and then I'll just place it down into the soil with that white taproot facing downwards. Real quickly, I kind of prep my soil. I kind of tamp down a small section just lightly because that's going to give that seed a hug when you place it in there. And you don't need to put it deep. You only need to put it basically the width of the seed. So I'm just going to make a little divot there. It's nice and clear. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to grab my seed. And again, I'm going to be putting it taproot down. I'm going to put it right into that hole. I'm going to hit this down just a little bit. Boom. So it's getting a nice hug. I'm going to take a pinch of soil, put it right over it, give it another little tamp down, not hard, just making sure the top is covered, and then I'm going to add my water. I highly suggest that everybody goes out and buy a set of these 3 measuring cups. This is the smallest cup. This will allow me to get to 50, but you also have the fancy glass beakers too. Either way, they work, they're accurate. So yeah, just when I start out the fresh seeds like this, I want to give them just a little bit of water to keep that air to water ratio perfect. And I like to start them out in the solo cups with 50 milliliters of water. And then I'm going to take that 50 milliliters of water, and I'm just going to gently pour it right around where the seed was, a little bit over it. I don't want to be too hard or impactful with that stream. I don't want to disrupt the soil, but as you can see, I'm pouring just right around where that seed was because I want that soil to be the moistest. And then I'm going to leave it. Temperatures are remaining a steady 75 degrees, and my humidity, I'm trying to keep that between 60 and 65 degrees in the tent. So at the end of day 3, we wait for these to pop above soil. I would say another 24 to 48 hours, but that's one of the most exciting things about popping seeds, is waiting for them to break through the soil. Do you see what I see? Right there. It has been 2 days since I put them into the soil, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give them another 75 milliliters of water. First time was 50, this time is 75, but just like last time, I'm going to kind of pour it in around where they're coming out from the soil. Don't want to be too on top of it, but I just want to get it nice and around there, reaching maybe a little bit of the outside perimeters, but you want to keep it mainly around the emerging plant. Thank you for watching the first video in the series. Stay tuned.
Westport.